Member from Davenport.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I would just like to take note that I will be sharing my time with the member from Durham. Mr. Speaker, I'm proud to rise and speak to Bill 89. We as a government are committed to doing everything we possibly can so that children are given the best start in life. Mr. Speaker, I must confess that this bill is very close to my heart. Since I was elected in 2014, I have always had the pleasure to speak to my constituents and to listen to their stories. While many of these stories are happy, some of them are truly heartbreaking. It is my sincere hope that the passage of this bill will lead to more happy stories, with more children being able to be protected and grow up in a happy, safe environment. Mr. Speaker, the ministry has consulted with people all across this province, from Timmins to Windsor and everywhere in between. Aside from the 400 people who attended the consultations and the 181 submissions we received, we also took the time to speak to the experts and to listen to what they had to say. We spoke to the Office of the Provincial Advocate for Children and Youth, the Child and Family Services Review Board, judges and representatives from the Office of the Chief Justice for both the Superior Court of Justice and Ontario Court of Justice, the Office of the Children's Lawyer and the Children in Limbo Task Force. The experts who are in the field and who are on the ground are all in agreement the law needs to be updated, and this bill is the result of those extensive consultations. Mr. Speaker, I am proud to speak in support of this bill. This legislation that came out of consultations with experts and the public puts children and youth at the centre of our services so that they have opportunities to succeed and reach their full potential. You know, Mr. Speaker, the goodwill that will come from this bill here put forth in the House, it will increase the age of protection to include all 16 and 17-year-olds. It affirms the rights of children and acknowledges the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. It builds on the goals of Caitlin's principle by clearly stating that every child needs to be heard and respected. These are all the things that we as a government and as Ontarians should support. This is an act that, if passed, would strengthen the child welfare and child and family services system by strengthening the ministry's ability to hold children's aid societies accountable for the services they provide, as well as the ministry's ability to hold children's aid societies accountable for the management of public funds. Mr. Speaker, the one piece of this bill that I wish to speak to in this truly comprehensive legislation is that, if passed, Bill 89 will increase the age of protection to include all 16 and 17-year-olds. If passed, Mr. Speaker, we anticipate that up to 1,600 youth will benefit from raising the age of protection by the end of the first year of implementation. That's 1,600 kids who will have demonstrably better lives as a result of actions taken by this House. In our bill, 16 and 17-year-olds will have access to child protection services, including services through a voluntary agreement with the Children's Aid Society. In addition to providing outcomes for kids as they transition into adulthood, these provisions would bring Ontario in line with other provinces and territories as the 8th province to raise the age of protection. Mr. Speaker, that's 1,600 kids who can grow up, go to college or university, find good jobs, start families, and lead happy lives just because one piece of this comprehensive legislation. While some on the other side of the House have said that this bill is toothless, I ask them to think about 1,600 kids a year who will have better lives as a result of it. I am proud to stand in support of this bill. We are proud to uphold Caitlin's principle in this bill. I am proud that the bill affirms the rights of children and acknowledges the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. I am proud that we are strengthening the ministry's ability to hold children's aid societies accountable for the services they provide, as well as the ministry's ability to hold children's aid societies accountable for the management of public funds. But mostly, Mr. Speaker, I am proud to know that this bill will be helping kids who are 16 and 17 years of age to have access to child protection services. The passage of this bill will ensure that these kids won't fall through the cracks. It will ensure that they have the supports and tools while they transition to adulthood. It will ensure that these kids can grow up and lead happy lives. I am proud to stand in support of this legislation and want to encourage all sides to ensure its passage. Thank you.
Member from